Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.
You are listening to the Amigo Show, brought to you by Miami Princess Hotel. You can call the show 954-990-0036. You can reach the show on Twitter at The Amigo Show. It's time for the Amigo Show on SoFloRadio.com.
Just one of those careers for a few years.
There it is, the Yankees all-time hits leader. He is Mr. Derek Jeter. Mr. New York. Mr. Franchise. Mr.
Dynasty.
All-time.
Here's the kid, Derek Jeter, first big league assist. Here's the kid, Derek Jeter, first major league hit.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000 hits.
Holy cow! He craved it. It's a huge honor to put this uniform on every day and come out here and play.
Mr. New York. Mr. Franchise.
Dynasty.
All-time.
Got that style, got that grace and legs. This game.
I know there's a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. But you got to figure after today, I'm not going to be able to pull this Jeter card. Let it ride. Let it ride. It is gone. Mr. New York. Mr. Franchise.
Enjoy it.
Mr. All-Time. Women like a sharp-dressed man. Did you see Jeter when he walked in the Fenway last Sunday? Looking like a pimp, dog. Straight black suit. Purple tie. Let's go, Jeter.
Where'd he pull that style from? I've never seen Jeter like that.
He looked, and then he had the sunglasses.
Yeah,
that guy looked like a pimp. I love this song, bro. Talking about pimping, the Amigo Show right here on SoFloRadio.com. I'm ready to pimp for 3 hours. Oh, my goodness. Are we going to have an action-packed show today? There's so much to talk about. Phone number 954-990-0036. It's been a few weeks. Last week we had to pull the plug because I decided to stay in New York an extra day, catch a Mets game. Not sure why I did that. I actually had a good time at Citi Field.
Lucky bastard.
But I had to extend the trip. First things first. Good morning, LeBron.
Hey, good morning.
There you go.
Hey, there you go.
I know you play the Heat like in a week and a game that doesn't count, and then you come back here Christmas Day. Mira, Pati, Rudy.
Toma.
I got some bones to pick with a bunch of people, including Colin Coward. But we'll talk so much sports today and an action-packed show. Great guest list today. In this 9 o'clock hour, right around 9:30, we'll go ahead and we'll take Alonzo Highsmith's call. We know who Alonzo is.
Yep.
He's director of scouting. He's big time with the Green Bay Packers, who rolled on the Vikings on Thursday, but also he is a UM legend, former UM great. Talk a little bit about tonight's game between Georgia Tech and the University of Miami.
Well, he's been on the show before.
He has, and as you know, a lot of my guests end up being good friends of mine. I mean, the Amigo, that kind of goes hand in hand, I would think. But certainly many, many years of friendship with Alonzo Highsmith, so it's always fun to talk to him, and we'll talk a little NFL, we'll talk a little bit of Canes, see how things are going, talk about how AJ's doing with the 49ers. His son AJ took a job with the 49ers. He's doing some scouting now, following in Dad's footsteps. In the 10 o'clock hour, oh boy, I'm telling you, man, I don't think I've had this many guests in a long time. But in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll go ahead and go to our best available Cuban, Will Manso. So Will Manso will be finishing up breakfast with the family, and he'll jump on at 10, talk a little local sports. Obviously, we'll touch on the Canes, touch on the Dolphins with him, that and so much more. Also in the 10 o'clock hour, right around 10:40, Melvin Bratton. Mel and Zoe, those guys are UM legends, and both of those guys became great friends with them over the years, and Mel, indeed, no difference. It's been a couple years since I interviewed Mel.
Mel's in G-Tech.
He's over there.
Yeah, he's over there now.
He's over there, so we'll talk a little bit about the game. In the 11 o'clock hour, we'll go with Jim Leyritz, former Yankee great. He was in Yankee Stadium a week ago Thursday for the Jeter game. Couldn't even see each other. That's what a frenzy that place was. He was there. Oh, by the way, I was there. And the little amigo was there. And what an unbelievable experience that was for all of us. I got some great little amigo stories for you. In true little amigo fashion, he did some work, bro. But we'll talk about that.
In New York?
Oh, wait till you see and hear what this kid did, bro.
Man, and the way that people are like, because New York gets a bad stink for being rude.
No, and it's wrong, by the way. Everybody's
very friendly.
Everybody's very friendly in New York.
You
it's
need
incredible.
help. You need something, and they're, I'll help you no matter
what. If
what.
they see you look at two signs, they tell you, what are you looking for?
Right.
Like they'll come to you and say, what do you need? Okay, you got to go here, make a right, go down that.
I can only imagine what happened with a little amigo.
Oh,
my God.
This is a great story.
All right.
Then also 11:30, we'll get my buddy Kenny Anderson on the phone because we're going to talk some NBA, and then, of course, he's a Georgia Tech grad, so he's going to tell me why Georgia Tech's going to beat UM in football. And I think he's going to give me some props for finally doing a strong representation of being a New Yorker. He said I had abandoned that for a little while with all the Heat stuff, and he knows I can't shake the Canes. I love my Canes, but certainly New York a week ago Thursday. I think one of the reasons I extended my trip last week, Frank, was because I wasn't ready to come in here on a Saturday morning, just 36 hours removed from Jeter's last at bat in Yankee Stadium, and talk about it without crying. Well, we're a week later. And there's a real good chance, which is why I didn't want you to turn that camera on. There's a real good chance that I'll bust out in tears, but I'm going to do my best to not to.
And I'll do my best not to zoom in.
All right. Well, wow, bro. What an unbelievable experience to be in Yankee Stadium to see Derek Jeter go the other way in a clutch moment and win that game. You know, a lot of variables. Obviously, I think the reason the pitcher doesn't intentionally walk Jeter is because there would have been a riot in the Bronx had he done that. And that's probably would have been the right baseball move to make. But they pitched to him, and I'll tell you what, the last time we were on the air a couple weeks back, you were like lobbying for me to take the little guy, right?
Yep.
It wasn't even a thought. I kind of wanted to just go by myself. I wanted to kind of detox, stressful work, stress. I needed a little bit of away time. And then it just dawned on me that, man, I talked so much crap about my old man not taking me to that Reggie Jackson game when I was 9.
Mm-hmm. And
we didn't know what was going to come about. The Yankees were already out of the playoffs, but it was still going to be his farewell at Yankee Stadium. So I took him. I got the flight, got the hotel, got his ticket. We took him to dinner Wednesday night. Told him, you need to pack a bag. We're leaving on the red eye tomorrow because you're going to go see Jeter's last at bat. Kid starts to cry. What an unbelievable experience. I've wanted to share this for a couple weeks now, or at least 10 days. The place was electric. Not only was there not an empty seat, there wasn't a dry eye after the bottom of the ninth. His first at-bat when he almost goes yard. Holy mackerel.
That would have been like a movie.
Holy mackerel.
That would have been
here's
like a
what
movie.
we said. Like if Hollywood writes this script, as people who watch movies, we would say that's a terrible movie because that crap would never happen. It would just never happen.
Yep.
That's how unreal it was. Well, he hits the top of the fence. He almost goes yards. It's a double. Ends up the evening, I believe, with a couple of hits, 3 RBIs. But this is the one that I think that'll stick with me for a lifetime.
Give me a second.
Well, maybe it'll...
I'm trying to get...
Brings up Jeter.
Now batting for the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
You having a flashback?
Oh, yeah. Thank God it's first pitch. Everybody was standing on their feet. As you can tell if you saw it on TV, and a lot of people did.
Well, the script is there. The last page is in Derek's hands.
And to thank the Yes Network and give them credit for this bite. It's brought to you by Yes.
Meek deals. Base Markakis gets to right field. Here comes Richardson. Here's the throw from Markakis. Richardson is safe. Derek Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single. Derek Jeter, where fantasy becomes reality. Did you have any doubt?
Unbelievable, guys. It was incredible to share the moment with my 9-year-old. And I'll just take you in briefly, and then we're going to talk a lot of other stuff as well today. He's next to me. We get a row one. It was at the upper deck, but we get row one. I wanted him to be able to see everything. And I had my arms around him.
Where in the upper deck were you?
422. We were right on the third base line.
Okay,
I wanted to be as close to Jeter as possible. So I didn't do my traditional 203 bleacher creature thing. So as it came up and we saw that this was going to be a moment, I just simply put my arms around him. The single goes through, and we're bouncing up and down, and I'm like, it's all kind of a blur because it was so surreal. And when the guy slides head first, scores, and the game is over, my son turns around and weeps and just grabs me and squeezes me and weeps. And I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional because it sounds kind of stupid, but any of you fathers out there can understand that when you can share a moment like this with your child, and I wish I could take it in my head to understand how upset for so many years I've been at my father for not letting me go see Game 6 of the 77 World Series. I've made a big joke about it, but, like, honestly, I'm really pissed off at him. I've been pissed off at him for a long time. We almost didn't make the trip, and my best friend, my son's godfather, gave me a call and said, you need to do this trip because you need to turn the corner because you bring that thing up way too much. And I think that no matter what the outcome is, it'll allow you to turn the corner and leave that in the past. And I can't tell you enough on how I don't think that'll be a problem in my life anymore. But to be able to share that with him, I took a picture, I filmed him, and then from there I extrapolated a picture, which was probably maybe a minute, not even after the hit. And it's my son in the truest form, just in weeping in tears. At that point, Frank, I turn around, I look around. Every man, woman, and child was in tears in our section. Everybody. So I didn't feel alone. Like, I thought I was being a dork. I was like, oh my God, I'm such a Jeter dork. And I looked around and everyone was in tears. So the whole thing afterwards, he comes out with the towel, the post-game, because he did a post-game press conference. They interviewed him on the field, then he went inside and did a post-game, and they asked us to stay to watch it. And many people did stay in Yankee Stadium to watch it.
Oh, they asked the fans to stay to watch
absolutely.
it?
Since the first inning, they've been doing it. What was beautiful about the game is between innings, they were playing bites. You know, there was one where they just get to different fans, and you see one guy with a Red Sox fan, Derek Jeter, Captain Clutch, El Capitan, Mr. November. And my favorite play was the flip play. My favorite play is his 3,000th hit. Like, and, dude, it was, I don't know if the Yankees could have done it any better. Yeah, probably take them to the playoffs, but they didn't get to do that. Late in the game, they started "Thank You Jeter" cheer. Thank you, Jeter, and it was an amazing experience for my child. So much so we extended our trip. Friday we went to a not so exciting Mets Houston game where we got to see the National League batting champion, actually Major League batting champion, Jose Altuve. Right? Is that his name? Jose Altuve.
Yep.
The little 5'6" guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
Great player.
Great player.
So it was a good message to send to my son because he kind of likes athletes that are short because that means they're overachievers. It's like, even though he never saw Spud Webb play, he's a big Spud Webb fan. Like, he likes the little guy that overachieves.
Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah, he always brings up Muggsy Bogues. And, you know, so he kind of took a liking to the guy. He got to meet Chris Carter.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Big guy.
Oh, hold on a minute. Didn't he also get to meet the voice of Ham?
Wasn't that crazy? As we're getting on the plane, we go, and I said, come on, let's go get a little toast or something before we hop on the plane. And I look, and there's John Ratzenberger, guy from Cheers, Cliff Clavin.
I would have never recognized him.
Well, Cliff Clavin. You never saw Cheers?
No, man.
Okay, so anybody who saw Cheers, Cliff and Norm were like the two bar nuts there that they always stayed there. Norm was like everybody's friend there. And Cliff was the postman who was just kind of a dork who had all these he was a wealth of knowledge with facts that made had no bearing in life. He would say the stupidest things, and he was one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in a sitcom. Cheers, one of my favorite shows of all time. And when I see him, I say, I don't usually stargaze. I go, I got to get this guy, because I knew about Toy Story and some of the other Disney stuff he did.
Right.
Never asked him to do the voice. We go to him. We go to take a picture. So he looks at my son. He goes, you ever see, it was Toy Story, right? This is Ham the piggy bank, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes and he does the voice.
Oh, my
and
God.
my son, his eyes got big. He goes, oh, my God, it's you. Oh, wow. And then he how my son likes to do that one-arm hug to people like, yeah, you're my dude.
Uh-huh.
He went and did it right to John right away. John started laughing. Great guy. That was when that happened, I said, this is going to be a pretty good day. The other thing that happened that made it seem like it was going to be a good day, there was a 100% chance of rain.
Oh,
it was a
I
rainy
heard
day
all
all
day.
day. We walked around the city, right? We went and had lunch at Applebee's, right? And we go into the Yankee store. And when we go in the Yankee store, we see a couple shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
A guy, handsome guy, very good-looking girl. And so I don't know how we got to start talking to them. I think they were looking for a jacket or a Jeter jersey, and we started talking. Guy's a Cardinals fan.
Mm-hmm.
The young lady works in media in Tennessee, in Memphis, covers the Grizzlies, and so we get to talking, and we exchange numbers, and we say, hey, let's have a beer at the stadium or something, right? So that didn't happen because I didn't get up my seat except once to take him to the bathroom. I held my ganas. And we end up taking a cab back to the city with him, hang out in the city, and all of a sudden I see my son kind of taking a liking to the girl.
Oh, here it comes.
Dude. So, he was feeling like he was cool with the adults, right? Along with them was a gentleman named Mario, who is my friend Charlie's godfather. Great guy. He umps back in, he's in Texas. Funny guy. It was like, we had a good time in the cab. We had a good time eating. And I see my son kind of gravitating to the blonde.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right. So they come up with this idea, hey, let's go catch a game tomorrow at Citi Field. I look at my son. I go, look, we can X that off our list because we want to go to every stadium before he's 18.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
She's like, yeah, I know, it's tough. I got 9 years.
I said before I died.
Yeah, I got 9 years. I might die before he's 18, so that's part of the reason.
Don't say that, man.
So he's like, yeah, let's do it. Like, come on, let's go. So, tickets were far cheaper and far better than the ones I got in Yankee Stadium.
Hell yeah.
Go to the game. He sits next to the girl and starts talking to her. And they spend most of the game talking about sports. He forgot his dad was at the game as he talked to the blonde. It gets better. We take the train back from Queens, right? So they wanted to see Grand Central Station. So we go to Grand Central Station, and you might be too young to remember the movie Arthur. You remember the movie Arthur?
Yeah, I never saw it.
Okay, it was with Dudley Moore and with Liza Minnelli. And there's a scene in that. See, Dudley Moore is a multi-billionaire in this movie, and he's never really seen New York. He's only seen it from the window of a limo because he goes everywhere in a limo. So she takes him on a real tour of New York. And one of the scenes, they're laying down what seems to be like they're laying down in the grass in a picnic looking up at the stars, but what they're really doing is they're laying on the floor of Grand Central Station. If you've ever been in Grand Central Station, you look on the roof, it's all the stars in the order you would see them in the sky on a clear night. Still pointing. So we get to Grand Central Station. What does my son and the blonde do? My name is Chelsea. I shouldn't call her the blonde. That's kind of real chauvinist for doing that, right?
Yeah.
They lay on the floor, and they reenact this scene from Arthur. And she's showing him where the stars are, and he's laying on. I got a picture of it and everything. So the night ends, and they literally at one point held hands, like unbelievable. I can't even make this up, right? And we're going to the hotel. He goes, Dad, did you know that Chelsea was Miss Tennessee?
What?
So I look at him. I go, what? She's Miss Tennessee, Dad. I don't know she's not, puppy. Yeah, she told me she was Miss Tennessee. So I look
Google.
it up. She's Miss Tennessee. I got one better for you. She was on American Idol season 9 and 10. She didn't make it to TV season 9, came back season 10 and made it on TV, which I actually remember that story about, I didn't make it on TV, then I made it on TV. dude, I look at my son. I go, Papi, how is that? Yep.
Is this her? Is this her?
Oh, yeah. I have a picture of her. I'll show it
That's
to you.
her?
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yeah. That guy makes pimping easy, bro. That guy.
Anthony,
Yeah, that guy.
you have bigger balls than me.
Guys, I haven't given out the number. 954-990-0036. Holy Toledo, dude. My son goes to New York and picks up Miss Tennessee. I looked at Charlie. Charlie's Miss Tennessee's boyfriend. I go, dude.
Watch out.
Watch out, bro.
I think you just got jacked.
You're gonna get. He goes,
Don't underestimate the 9-year-old.
I'm like, dude, he's got game.
Wow.
He's got game, bro. So that was a lot of fun. Talking about having game. We're got a lot to talk about on this show.
Your life is going to be interesting in about 5
this
years.
guy. I feel bad for my daughter's friends. Those are the ones that are in trouble because he's going to shoot for the stars. He seems to go for the older woman.
And
for
that's
some
the
reason.
perfect hookup, man.
Holy
It's like a
Toledo.
bullpen just right there in your house.
Dude, how in the world? Like, I just...
Like, dude, I got a sister, but she's way littler than me, so I can't touch none of her friends.
Yeah, don't bring her around because he might pick her up too.
Oh my God!
I
wow.
mean, and then the thing is, it's not like ugly girls. It's not for the sake of talking to the girl. Like, he's nice to everybody, but then he takes the special attention with the pretty one. It never fails.
Wow. Yo, this chick is fine, bro. Anthony, dude.
Can't even make it up. Wow. So needless to say, man, it was a wonderful trip. But talking about having game, Major League Baseball. Are you kidding? What a week of... If we've talked about how baseball's on a regression, how it's the third best sport and you know, third best major sport and all this yada yada crap, I'm here to tell you that this week really helped. And I hope that it doesn't tail off. But the playoffs have been absolutely amazing. Last night, Eric Hosmer goes yard in the 11th inning. Kansas City wins their third consecutive extra inning game. Eric Hosmer's a kid I saw grow up. I can't say he was around me every day, but I can tell you that his uncle is one of my best friends and saw him from time to time. And I have a soft spot for the Royals simply because Eric Hosmer plays baseball for them. And I could not stay up to see it. I was falling asleep. I knew I had to wake up early for the show. And I wake up this morning to see the home run.
And there's a drive to right by Eric Hosmer, and it is gone. Eric Hosmer, a 2-run shot, and the Kansas City Royals have the lead.
Can't write a script better than this. Hosmer goes yard. Playoffs have been outstanding. Royals up 2-0. They snagged 2 from the Angels in Los Angeles. The Dodgers and the Cardinals going at it yesterday. Almost a brawl. Then it ends up being a barn brawl. Cardinals win 10-9 to jump up on that series, right? Nationals all excited about that home game. End up losing 3-2 to the Giants, who won a wild card game a couple of days earlier. Giants up 1-0 in that series. The Orioles have been a lot of fun. Their fans have been phenomenal in the first 2 games of this series. I had a buddy sitting right behind home plate. In fact, not just a buddy, but our sponsor here on the Amigo Show, which is brought to you by Miami Princess Hotel. So my boy, he takes a flight out there and goes to see game 1 behind home to see the Orioles. And then he's ready to come home. They cancel his flight. He goes, no problem. Goes back behind home plate to see game 2 yesterday afternoon. They were down 6-3. And you see, I mean, I'm at work trying to follow the scores, right? And they're down. They were up 2-0. Then I saw they were down 6-3. And then as we're leaving work, somebody tells me, "Can you believe the Orioles won?" I said, "What?" They sure did.
And everybody knows he's ready to fire on the first one. Bases loaded. Young swings, line drive. That is down and to the wall. Cruz is in. Pierce is in. Party around
Telvin Young has an affinity for the clutch hit. He plays so well in the playoffs. He did it with the Tigers. Now he did it to the Tigers. O's take a 2-0 lead. They got to go back to Detroit. Not an easy place to play baseball, but certainly should be a lot of fun. I got to tell you, the Royals win 2 in Los Angeles. Now they come back to Kansas City for Game 3. Guess what, Los Angeles Angels?
Bye-bye.
I'll smell you later.
Dude, that Kansas City crowd versus the Oakland game sounded like if the Chiefs fans just slept in their cars, woke up, changed their shirts, and then went over across the parking lot.
Yeah, it's been a crazy playoff. So we're going to talk about that throughout the show. We'll have Jimmy Leyritz on in the 11 o'clock hour. Coming up when we come back from break, we're going to get into the University of Miami versus Georgia Tech tonight. That's going to be a big game. I was on a flight on the way home, so I missed most of the Duke game, caught the last 5 or 6 minutes. As my wife and my daughter waited for us a baggage claim, my son and I went to the bar to finish the trip, right? We get off the plane, and we watched the last 6 minutes of the game and made them wait.
Yep.
Typical guy fashion.
Yep.
In fact, when I get to baggage claim, my wife already had the bag, and she's looking at her watch like, what took you so long? Everybody else get out of the flight. We were watching the end of the UM game. So we'll talk when we come back from break. We're going to talk to Alonzo Highsmith. Also, later in the show, we'll talk to Melvin Bratton a little bit about UM. 10 o'clock hour, we'll get Will Manso, talk a little local sports. And then we're going to get some crap from Kenny Anderson, Georgia Tech grad, because he's going to talk a little NBA with him. I have to ask him something in reference to a comment I heard Colin Cowherd on ESPN make this week as he was relating to NBA teams. And he made a list. He tiered the teams that can win a championship, teams that could compete for a championship, teams that will win 40 games. And he listed 17 teams. And guess what team he didn't mention? He didn't mention the Miami Heat. So I know he doesn't listen to Little Old Me on Saturday morning on SoFlo Radio.
I don't know what he's thinking.
But I'll bet him $1,000 that they win 40 games.
Yeah,
I said it right now.
Bet.
You got it on the podcast.
I'll take that bet.
I'll bet Colin Cowherd $1,000. I've never bet $1,000 on anything. I'll bet him $1,000 that the Miami Heat win 40 or more games. Nobody else, just Colin. Because now somebody will go, I'll take the bet. No, I'm not a bookie. But just to prove Colin wrong. And yeah, just to get attention, of course. So we'll talk about that with Kenny Anderson. I want to get his opinion on that. Because I understand they may not be that top tier anymore. But did the East's, I mean, other than what Chicago's done and a couple of other, is the East still full of juggernauts? I mean, is it now full of juggernauts opposed to last? Because I don't remember the East being so strong. And the majority of your games are in the East. Why in the world would you think that the Heat couldn't win 40 games? I called him out on it on Twitter. He never got back to me. Of course. He's busy doing a show. And I love Colin, but no way. I'm also going to rip Mike Lupica later on the show. Apparently, he didn't like the fact that Jeter now has his own little website where athletes can go on and express themselves, right? Let's say a celebrated athlete blog is what I call it. But nonetheless, Lupica not happy about it. Because for the last 20 years, they've been trying to get things out of Jeter. He's been so private. Now he wants to do this. I think Lupica's still stuck in the 20th century. I think he doesn't want progress to come. Either that or his job could be in jeopardy because Jeter would be a better journalist than him. Jeter would be a better anything.
But that's what's good about, well, it's bad for media people, but because they can't ask any follow-up questions. But like Russell Wilson went in there and wrote something as well. He can't be asked about it. He wrote in that he used to bully kids when he was in school.
It's an amazing first story, right?
Yep.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pay some bills. When we come back, right, we're going to get Alonzo Highsmith on, talk a little bit of Canes. We're going to have a good time. You know, at work, they're calling me Derek Jeter now. So yesterday we got to go, dress down because we had some all-day training and call session. And so I go in my Jeter jersey and 7 different Yankee hats. Yeah, I went crazy.
One for every hour?
No, I said, just one that was going to find me luck. And, where I work, you have to wear different hats all the time. So I use that as a kind of a correlation. I walk into the room late in the day, start chanting Derek Jeter. I thought that was cool. You can call me Derek Jeter anytime you want, right? Larry Million.
You're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
Escape with your loved one to your own private fantasy world at the totally renovated Miami Princess Hotel, 4251 Northwest 11th Street, next to the airport in Miami. Unlock the secrets of your imagination in one of our 8 exotic theme rooms. Journey to the Orient in the Japanese room. Ancient delights await in the Roman room. Be the king of your jungle in the Tarzan room. Breathtaking suites designed to provide the utmost of intimacy. Miami Princess Hotel, located close to I-95 and the airport. Give them a call, 305-441-1862. That's 305-441-1862.
We asked this gentleman to participate in our radio taste test challenge. On one table, terrestrial radio. On the other, SoFloRadio.com. Do you have your blindfold on?
Yes.
Try a bite of this.
Oh, God, that's awful. Tastes like the soiled briefs of a lonely fat man.
You just had a taste of all sports and corporate-backed right-wing assassin talk radio. Now give this a try.
That's gotta be SoFloRadio.com. Entertaining, funny, informative. I love it. Can I have more?
SoFloRadio.com. A full plate of delicious entertainment.
Hi, this is George. You know, trying to get laid all day makes me hungry, so I go to Power Smoothie in Aventura and get the healthiest wraps and most delicious smoothies ever made. I mean, really, the smoothies are so insanely delicious, they're orgasmic. The staff is friendly there and cute. The food is healthy and real, not processed. This is not fast food, it's good food served fast. And they love me there. They even let me create my own smoothie, the Malted Jorge. Go in and ask for one. They're in the Promenade Shops right off of US 1 in Aventura, or call them at 305-792-5338. You can also visit them online at powersmoothieaventura.com.
By the Glass.
By the Glass is a show about beverage culture.
Brad Hubbard.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the dots on how everything works together. It's really all about how we enjoy things, how we enjoy life, and how beverages play a big part in that. I'm going to bring in people that are going to display their aspect of the culture. I'm going to bring in people that are going to show you different products. We're going to look at places where people go to consume these beverages and how they all interact. Things are built around the actual beverage itself.
By the Glass. Thursdays from 6 to 7. Only on SoFloRadio.com.
You are listening to The Amigo Show with Larry, the Amigo Million. On SoFloRadio.com.
You hear that song, you know what that means. We got some Canes over here. Whoosh, whoosh. None better than UM great Alonzo Highsmith here on the Amigo Show, joining us, talk a little bit of UM football. Zo, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Doing wonderful, man. How's everything going with you?
I'm doing great. Just up in the morning watching some film. That's about it.
That's the story of your life. I saw a little film, and then I turned it off because it got boring because you guys took the Minnesota Vikings, your rival Vikings, to the woodshed, did the Green Bay Packers. Wow, that was pretty impressive. Strange year in the NFL where it seems as if teams one week come out and look one way, and then the other week they'll come out and they look as bad as they looked good the week before. So I've always played into the fact that parity has something to do with that. I don't know I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I think it is parity, but I also think that the game has changed a great deal. There's a lot less preparation for games as it used to be because there's a time limit. You can work with kids, how long you can be on the practice field, you know, how many times you can practice in full pass. So there's a whole bunch of factors going on to the game in today's game. And I think that as a head coach, I think everyone's still evolving to this new league, Thursday night games. And, you know, you're playing a Thursday night game and you've only had one day of practice and those sorts of things preparing. So I think we are in a different generation of football, but I think it's just a matter of everyone adapting to it.
Well, it was impressive to see Eddie Lacy go for 100. You guys rushed for $156 as a team. Statistically, it's hard to look at a game like this because once you get up big, then, you know, the team that's losing is trying to come back and they're doing everything possible. but certainly Aaron Rodgers had an efficient game under center. You guys now at 3-2. Your thoughts on the remainder of the season, how it started off. There's been ups and downs. Your thoughts on where you're going at, how that division looks, and as far as the next few games, I think it'll be a telltale sign as to whether or not you guys are going to be fighting in the playoffs again.
Well, I'll tell you what, we knew that the first 5 games of the season were going to be tough. We're opening up in Seattle. From Seattle, you've got, who we play next after the Jets, I think. Then you've got Detroit. Then you've got Chicago. Then you've got Minnesota. All those last 3 games are all division games and that kind of stuff. And I think Aaron came out and he told everybody to relax a little bit because in Aaron's, I think 6-7 years as a starter, I think notoriously we've been kind of slow starters. Our record has been 1-2, 1-2, 2-3, 3-3. I remember us going to play the Houston Texans a few years ago, and I think our record was 2-3 at that time. And we were going to play the Texans, and they were undefeated and all that kind of stuff. And Aaron clicked it in, the team clicked it in, and so that's why Aaron told everybody to relax, because for the last 5-6 years, even the year we won the Super Bowl, I think we started the season off 3-4. And for some reason, we've had these slow starts, but we eventually get it back in gear. You don't want to come out with a slow start, but it happens sometimes, and you just have to keep your composure, and because it's a long season. I've always said this: the NFL season doesn't start till the sixth game of the year. After 6 games, if you've got 2 wins, 3 wins, or even 1 win with 10 games left, you still have an opportunity to go to the playoffs.
Lonzo Highsmith joining us here on the Amigo Show. Switching gears tonight, I consider it a big game because of the conference, because even though the Canes have had their way with Georgia Tech over the last few years, the truth is that triple option and the twists that come with it have generally served problematic for the University of Miami. Obviously, it's a different group of kids, but we saw them play Nebraska and not experience a lot of success. And that was just an option, not a triple option. Your thoughts on tonight's game, where UM is at right now, and how big is this game as far as a springboard for the rest of the season for the Miami Hurricanes?
Well, I think that every game the University of Miami plays it's a big game, and I've always said this: it doesn't matter what Miami's record is, because of the past and who the University of Miami is. Miami has to come out ready to play. It is a big game. Anytime Miami walks on the field, anytime a team can beat Miami, they get credibility. And though we've had some lean years and we haven't been a dominant team, it's still Miami. People still know that Miami has great athletes and all those sorts of things. So when they beat Miami, it's a big deal to them, man. And these kids have to understand is that anytime they walk on the field, they're ready for you. And when you go play in Nebraska, you go play in another game on the road, it's even bigger because these schools want to kick your behind because you're Miami. And that's just the way it is. And if you're not ready for that, well, you're going to get beat by Nebraska like what happened. You're going to get beat by Notre Dame what happens because you have to raise your intensity level much, much higher than being prepared to play a Cincinnati, even though that's a big game. Stakes get even higher. And I think that Miami players are still haven't learned how to play the big game yet. And it's not their fault. They haven't had a lot of success in the big games. But I truly believe that if this team can somehow find a way to win a game that no one expects them to win, a game that's on national television, it's a big stage. They haven't played well on the big stage, and that's where you make a name for yourself, is on the big stage. And sometimes it takes a while before you get over that fright or doing the things the right way to win in those type of games, and they just haven't had the breaks and the lucks to go their way yet.
You surprised, because it's been so many years and boy, it hurts me to say this because I'm a big Canes fan, but it's time for me to be a little objective. We've lacked some relevance over the years. I know last year we got off to a great start and then kind of fell off, but really we haven't been the Canes of old for a while now. I'm surprised that when we go on the road somewhere, that's their national championship game. That's their bowl game. Like everybody comes out and just wants to whip our butt. Is that because of the lingering effect from the 80s and the 90s? Where does that come from?
Well, I think when you look at Miami, you look at the past, people are still watching the 30 for 30. I visit schools all the time, and I've had coaches ask me to speak to their team. I've had coaches. College football is better when Miami is good, USC is good, all the bad guys are good. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the bad guys, the Oklahomas, all those type of teams. When these type of teams, Miami and these types of teams are good, the viewer interest is bigger in college football. I mean, there's a lot of good colleges out there, but when you say Baylor or Miami, even Baylor might be the better football team right now, but Miami is looked at as the better football team nationally. And those sorts of things, people want to know what's going on at Miami. Miami is still a draw. It's still a big national draw when they play on national TV. So, in saying that, our players have to understand what's at stake every time they take the field, and that's something Jimmy Johnson's talk about. That's something about what Howard Schnellenberger talked about. The Miami teams that I know thrived on the road. Because here's the funny thing. When we were in college, we used to love playing on the road. Love it. There was so much adversity. We loved sticking it to the hometown crowd. Because we usually played in front of 30 to 50,000 people in the Orange Bowl. Now, when we knew Notre Dame was coming to town, there was going to be 70,000. Oklahoma, there's going to be 70,000, and that kind of stuff. But to go play on the road in front of 70,000 people, and they're all booing you, they all hate you, you come out on that field cocky, arrogant, and you want to destroy their day. It used to be so much fun to go on the road, and Jimmy Johnson and Howard Schnellenberger are probably the greatest all-time road-winning coaches in the history of college football. There was a preparation, there was a standard that when you went on the road, you want to spoil their homecoming, you want to fight the crowd, you want to take the whole crowd out of the game and ruin their day. There was nothing better than go on the road in front of 70,000 people, 60,000 people, and at the first 2 minutes of the game, it's 14-0.
We
that
hope
crowd is dead.
They're dead, and we hope that Miami can go in there tonight against undefeated Georgia Tech. They're 4-0 right now, and they can do the same thing and have that same calming effect on the Georgia Tech crowd. But if it's going to happen, it's going to come at the hands of our freshman quarterback, Brad Kaya. I wanted to get your thoughts. You know that I always respect you. You see things differently as a scout and so many years of looking at talent and watching film. Your thoughts on Brad's development over the past few weeks and his talent level and what that might mean for the University of Miami this year and for years to come.
Well, you know what? So far, what I've seen of this quarterback, he's done a good job. He's a young kid. He's a freshman. And, you can't expect too much out of a freshman, but I think he's exceeded all expectations of what you want from a freshman right now. He seems to have a good arm. He seems to be real level-headed. I think the biggest thing about being a freshman quarterback, I think being a freshman quarterback and leading a team as a true freshman, you have to have a lot of humility. You have to be able to lead, but you also have to be very humble at the same time. And he seems to be that way. He doesn't seem to get all flustered. He doesn't seem to get out of his way and go a different direction. And, I've been very impressed with the young man so far. I think he's done a good job. And if I was him, every day I would be throwing the ball to Dorsett after practice because Dorsett's a big play guy. And big play guys are going to give you big numbers, and they're going to help you win games. And I was watching this kid Dorsett. I think he's got the speed, he's got the acceleration, he's got the hands. I throw it deep to him at least twice a game. Make it easy on myself.
It might be nice to also incorporate Stacey Coley in that game of catches. He's kind of disappeared this season, and hopefully we can find him and find his ways from last year, get him back again. But certainly, these are kids. I mean, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They're going to have their ebb and flow, their up and down, and that's part of how this works. Part of that comes into play as well, and folks here in Miami have been very critical of the defense. It seems as if the defense played better last week. I know the conditions lent to a low-scoring game, but your thoughts on it seemed to be a little bit of a tweak in the defense. Seemed that they were applying a little more pressure, shooting the gaps, playing a little stronger. You think that was a Duke game plan, or do you think that might have come into play with maybe changing their philosophy a little bit for the rest of the season?
You know what? I just come from the Jimmy Johnson additive. I don't know what you play on defense. I don't know what you do on defense. I could care less what you do on defense. All I want to know, are you stopping people or are you getting the job done? My business, the business I'm in, is a result-oriented business. Either you're getting the results or you're not getting the results. That's the bottom line. You can scheme this, scheme that, scheme that. I don't know what you're doing. I don't want to know what you're doing. All I want to know is, are we stopping people? And that's the bottom line. If we're not stopping people and not winning games, then something has to change. That's all I know. And what our defense does, I hope we're playing better. I know we had a better game against Duke last week, but I need to see our defense step up in a game that matters. We should beat Duke. We should beat Florida A&M or all those other schools. I want to see us play against the big dogs and shut those people down.
Well, we'll be playing the big dogs on November 15th. I don't want to look past tonight's game, but hopefully this is a springboard to a rest of the season that could be highly successful. And I'm certainly looking forward to tonight's game. Your thoughts on what might happen tonight and whether they can control that triple option?
Well, you know what? The good thing about the triple option is it's all detailed assignment football. If you stick to the details and everyone performs their assignments right, you can have success against the triple option. But if one guy leaves his gap or one guy misses his man, and you do it several times, you could be down 20-0 with big plays against this team. But if you play your game, you stick to the details, everybody plays within themselves and takes care of their responsibility, you can have success.
Zoe, man, I appreciate you jumping on for a couple minutes this morning with us, talking some UM football, talking a little NFL, but certainly, I wanted to talk to you about the Canes. By the way, my daughter says hello. She sends you a big hug. And the little guy also told me to say, we're going to have Melvin on later, too, so he told me to say hello to you and Melvin. He watches the U documentary at least once a week. I'm like, Puppy, haven't you seen that enough? He's like, no. He likes the part of the whole Brian Bosworth and the coin flip.
What? Truthfully, you know how many times I've watched it?
How many?
One.
Oh, he watches it once a week, man.
I saw the premiere and I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, he likes the coin toss when you may have had some choice words.
All right.
Love you, Zoe. Take care of yourself, bro. Go Canes.
Take care.
It's Alonzo Highsmith joining us here on the Amigo Show. When we come back from break, try to take a few calls. 10 o'clock hour, Will Manso. Got a boatload of guests. I think we get Bratton on in the 10 o'clock hour. We get Kenny Anderson in the 11 o'clock hour. Jim Leyritz talking baseball. We'll be back here.
You're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
The Amigo Show would like to thank the law offices of Hockman and Golden, PA at www.ticketlawfirm.com. Both attorneys, Sonny Golden and Scott Hockman, are graduates of the U, both undergrad and law school, celebrating 20 years of helping drivers with traffic-related incidents, speeding tickets, red light camera violations, accidents. 305-665-1000 or ticketlawfirm.com.
Here's the latest ratings you asked for.
What is this? Where did all our listeners go?
SoFloRadio.com.
SoFlo.
What channel is that on?
It's online, sir. Wi-Fi radio.
Oh, I see.
But what channel is it on?
Put your business on the leading edge of media advertising with the SoFloRadio.com network. Unlike antiquated AM or FM radio, your professionally produced 30 or 60-second ad will be heard live on SoFloRadio.com during the day and will be downloaded thousands of times a day on SoFloRadio.com, as well as being heard on our free podcasts on iTunes. Wi-Fi radio and Bluetooth are now available with BMW, Ford, GM Cars and Trucks. Don't get left behind. Contact SoFloRadio.com for details and our very affordable rates. SoFloRadio.com. Stay ahead of the game.
The Owen Frank Noodle Show.
Park was a disaster. Oh, you've been there? The Gadorade?
Gadorade. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's Gatorade. Way, that's Gatorade in Spanish. Yeah.
Gadorade.
Gadorade.
I ordered a Gatorade once and he goes, Chico, you got un Gadorade? I'm like, what? Look at Franco. What is he talking about?
Gatorade.
Gatorade, homie. I was like, what?
Little Havana living, baby.
That was awesome.
The Owen Frank Noodle Show. Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. only on SoFloRadio.com.
I am the voice of terrestrial radio. Internet radio will not succeed. You will continue listening to sports, right-wing talk, and mayonnaise FM. If you disobey, we will punish you with more right-wing talk, sports, and mayonnaise FM. We are corporate, ergo, we are never wrong. Listen and obey. Listen and obey.
Shut it down, evil foe, for I am SoFloRadio.com, and I'm here to give back what people want to hear. A variety of entertainment, fresh music, comedy, and different points of view.
I own you.
Oh, your fart-radiating suit and tie don't frighten me, old chum. Behold the power of SoFloRadio.com.
My balls are falling off.
You only had one, my evil friend. There. Now you'll have to squat to pee.
SoFloRadio.com. Castrating terrestrial radio. One ball at a time.
You are listening to The Amigo Show with Larry, the Amigo Million.
Guys, we didn't come here for no reason. I said, guys, this is ours, man.
On SoFloRadio.com.
Those men looked me in my eye and they said, we got this, Jameis. And I said, he said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. And I said, we strong then.
Big booty, but you got a big booty.
Oh.
Big booty, but you got a big booty.
Oh boy. It's 9:53. This is scandalous, bro. I invite you to join 45 million other people to go on YouTube and check out the Jennifer Lopez booty video if you haven't seen it already, featuring Iggy Azalea. I know Frank hadn't seen it. He didn't know what I was talking about. I said, so have you seen the J-Lo video? He's like, no. What are you talking about? I go, you haven't seen the video for booty? He's like, no. I go, Bubble, that's scandalous. That's
left me with my mouth wide open.
No disrespect to the ladies in our life, but holy Toledo. No, don't lower it. It's. I know there's no visual to the song. At some point we'll have to fade it out, but it's just an excuse to let you leave it on. And if you're watching me on the camera here, I'm just looking at. Oh my
Eyes
God.
locked. Eyes are locked.
I don't know how Mark Anthony could put up with that. Like, he couldn't handle it. Like, how did he handle it?
I don't know how he was able to handle it for as
you know
long
what?
as he did.
He must be strapped like an elephant because, like, you got to keep her happy somehow, and I'm just not sure how. I'm just not sure how if you've got a little free.
With all that cocaine he's done, I'm sure he's all shriveled up.
Hey, he hasn't done coke. You don't know that. We don't know that. We have
Allegedly.
no idea.
Allegedly.
Like Vienna sausage or elephant. Like, Wow.
The little salchichitas and the little cans.
Yeah. Que jeva, Dios mío. 954-990-0036. Bro, that woman is out. How do you get better with time? Then they put that Iggy Azalea in the video. She's real cute, and she's got a big booty, too. She can't hold J-Lo's jock strap. Well, J-Lo doesn't have a jock strap. She has another type of strap. Oh, my goodness. The Amigo Show coming at you here on SoFloRadio.com. Thanks to the folks over at Miami Princess Hotel. We'll be at you here on the air till noon with a great guest list. We just heard Alonzo Highsmith.